Okay, so under that Safe Studio practice toolkits and templates, safe templates, we have all the templates and the toolkits available as an SPC. What it is required for us, starting from that implementation plan, the executive workshop, or the PI planning, identifying and launching the release streams, value streams, each and everything, we have it available within this the toolkits as a baseline. So make sure we take a look at these whenever we are planning to have any workshop, or as a reference, even if you're planning to go ahead and have a conversation with your leadership or with your teams or with your RTs as such. So yes, introducing safe toolkit is also there. So there is what many times we get the questions in the group in the SPC forum as well. I have to propose the safe for my client. How do I get started? Yes, there is where we can take a look at this introducing safe toolkit or even the safe executive workshop if in case you are directly planning to have a conversation with your client, with your executives, with your leaders. These files or these templates help us to get started with. So you can customize, you can tweak, you can adjust it, but start making use of these as a baseline version. That's what my point is. Right? We use these templates and we use these as required within our context, and we tweak and we adjust and we customize based upon our own context. See, like the safe PI planning toolkit, value stream and ART identification workshop toolkit, each and every toolkit template required from the implementation plan perspective are available under this safe toolkits. Okay, and make sure to check the language because they are having the Japanese, French, Chinese language as well. So make sure we download the latest of English language and we can access that as part of our discussion. Okay, and
Yes, sir.
LACE toolkit, regulatory compliance toolkit. Yes, even safe recommends or the organization, irrespective whether they're waterfall or Scrum or safe or agile, we need that compliance or guidelines. So we need that as well. Yes, Ramya, you're having a question?
No, I said yes, yes. I
Oh,
got it.
okay, okay. Yeah. Hi, Shobha. Hi, Sri Nagesh. Good evening.
Hi Satish, good
Hello.
evening Satish.
Yes, we just started going through that safe toolkits and templates
Okay.
as a concept.
Yeah.
Yes. So, anyone want to share your pointers? Yes, please, please add to the points. How you make use of these toolkits or templates in your context, or what's the benefit you found by using these or referring these? Anyone?
Not used it, not used any of them till now.
Okay, okay.
It's
Then
only a month, yeah. So probably at least what the advantage I see is I don't have to start from scratch.
yes,
For everything, there is something that I can refer to.
yes.
So Satish, I have used the PI planning toolkit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Okay, so which was very much useful because it gives a detailed list as well as the checklist, and as a facilitator point of view, that what all preparations do we need to do,
mm,
and how are we going to execute, or how are we going to facilitate, and how to give the direction, and how to
mm,
make sure that based on the agenda of our PI planning, that what all things do we need to coordinate with people in well advance, or collaborate with people with well
mm-hmm,
advance. It may need a little bit of tweaking from a facilitator perspective, that how do you want to use this toolkit,
mm,
but it gives a detailed information about the preparations and while executing. So what I have used, or how I have used these toolkit, is something, I have customized and created some of the checklists for my organization based on
mm.
my organization ways of working. right? And I have made those checklists with respect to that. As a facilitator or as a RT, how can I send the prior information or email to the respective people, and who all I should be involving to send a reminder or send an email for them to start doing the preparation or kick off the feature backlog refinement and so and so. So it was very much helpful, because I was not clueless when I was just trying to trying to start with the idea that I want to create a checklist of certain stuff, so that anybody, even if I am right now a RTE, but later on some other RTE will come, he will be able to go through the checklist and adapt himself or herself based on my organization ways of working. And we are not typical PI planning, we call it as a big room planning, but it's it's almost PI planning only. Okay, so but a little bit of customization, but it helped a lot with respect to having a baseline and then doing the customization and coming up with own documents.
Definitely, Shobha, because like the customization definitely requires the scale agile, or not just scale agile, anyone, right? Any organization or any
Yeah,
entity, they won't be able to cater all of us requirements or contexts. So each of us
exactly.
has our own internal organization specific, sometimes it could be even release train specific context as well. So definitely we need to do the tweaking, adjustments, or customization for sure.
Yeah,
Thanks,
but it's
thanks.
very much helpful for that. Yeah.
Yes, thanks. Dhirendra?
Yeah, so I think I have used and I've seen a lot of these checklists, and I have used also, because in our organization now we are doing PI planning. But the important thing as a SPC, I think we should always ensure that a lot of time during the training, when we will, like, when you people will be started training, your attendees are going to ask you that, okay, fine, you're telling these things, but I know how exactly the execution will happen. Correct. So also, we have to keep in mind that, we can also direct them to these particular resources.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe it may not be possible in each and every training, that because of the 2-day time limitation, that, we go into very deep into each and every checklist, but definitely we should at least give them a sense of it, that at least they are there, they exist, and how they can be used.
Definitely, that is what we generally, I mean, from my context, like we generally share with the participants either before the session or after the session, stating that this is where you can access, you can log in, and you can navigate, and you can download on your own. Many times we get the questions, we get the requests from the participants, or even from some of the SPCs, Satish, can you share this template, or can you share this? I will simply say that you access and you can download it directly, because you will get the latest version, and it is a copyrighted. Another important point, right? So whatever the information we are accessing once we log into the Safe Studio is to be considered as a copyrighted, which means even we 7 of us who are here within our current discussion, we are also not supposed to share among ourselves. Even though we are all SPCs, even though we have all the access, never share any of the safe copyrighted information or material with anyone else. Yes, Nagesh.
Correct. I agree with you, Satish, and all of you. Very good evening. I'm currently working with Citibank, the Agile transformation, for last two years, and last 3 years, because when I was with Infosys, you and me were working together, right? That great love story. 17 years when I was with Infosys, we were also dealing with Citibank and other, big banks and all. But currently, as you all said, they're very useful. The PI planning and then the value stream mapping, this kind of, the templates are very useful. But however, whenever I deliver a training session in city, the participants are from across the world, even for architects training and APM, and then, SM, TPM, RTE, and all these things. But one thing constantly they were asking me, bank. We always have to give a bank example. Payments, trade, onboarding. So whenever I was giving any example given in this, they were not okay. I mean, they said, no, 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 no. Please, can you can you translate? So it was not very easy for me. For everything, I have to get into a bank, that is Citibank. Only such examples if I give, only then they were kind of accepting, agreeing, and moving forward. This is what my experience, Satish.
So more or less same context with me as well. So what I did is like I prepared. I know how much of information or your own slides or your own material you prepared
Yeah.
when you are with Infosys. So I prepared my own template. Let me quickly share. I open that and share with all of you. Whenever I want to have any conversation with anyone, I bring up these as a discussion point. Let me bring up that. Where is it? Um,
Is it I who lost the sound, or is
no,
we got
I'm just opening a document.
okay?
Yeah. So, yes. So I prepared the same way, Srinagesh. I prepared an entire document starting from vision, strategy, personas, release map, like everything from the banking as an example, right? So
Okay.
I defined it and the release plan across the modules, the product roadmap, how we split that epic to user stories, the product to the team backlog, and the feature
Correct.
definition, each and everything. These are all the banking examples. I'm just
Correct.
because you're telling a bank, right? So this is how I prepared on my own, and this is what I bring up whenever I have any conversation with anyone. Okay, this is how we define it. Especially whenever I have to give any overview of safe, I start bringing this Excel so that like I don't have to worry about any of the copyrighted material or anything because these all I prepared it, the entire Excel document. So that is how like each of us has to bring our own context, our own examples, and our own references. And the same thing which we are doing whenever we are doing any safe training within our organization, we do have our own product backlog, our own features, our own epics, our own user stories, our own priorities, and we use that instead of using that the geek books or the other examples. That way, the participants within the organization, it will be easy for them to get the context easily. Rather than saying that geek books, it is easy for a public session to discuss or bring in an example, but the private internal to the organization, when all the participants are from the same product or same solution, it will definitely help when we bring the examples or differences from that product perspective. That is what I do from my side, sir.
Agree with you, Satish. I think that is so. Only thing that you would have spent a lot of homework and you prepared so much, and
Yes,
then
yes.
you would have spent an enormous amount of time and effort, right?
It is like iterative, incremental. I'm keep on whenever I have any discussion, I will keep on updating that sheet. I will be keep on getting it refined so that like
Correct.
I have that latest information or the document with me.
Also, Satish, like when we are giving training for 3 days or 4 days, uh, 3 half a days, or or 3 full days, or whatever subject wise. APM we will take more time, architects will take more time and all, right? Say for teams maybe little lesser time.
Yeah.
So there were participants also were expecting like we prepare kind of questions every 1 hour, at least every 1 hour. You covered this content you ask some questions. This questions should be like, safe examination or safe practice test or something related to the content. Not like, what's happening in Citibank or, some other bank. No. But when we ask questions, that should be related to actual content. I'm not saying we should, leak the actual questions or, the practice. That's proprietary. We are not supposed to use. They were asking us, can you prepare something very similar based on the content? Ask them so that they will get tuned to the examination.
Yes.
I had something similar experience in Nagesh. Satish, if it's okay, I'll take a minute.
Yes.
So when I first took Safe Agilist training back in 2017 or so, the training was terrible. So I reported to them, gave my feedback saying I didn't learn anything. Can you put me in another batch with some other trainer? Instead of doing that, they gave me list. They said, we'll give you a list of questions and you can easily pass. Passing, it's okay. I mean, then, yeah, I mean, but what about the knowledge?
Correct.
Right. I
Absolutely.
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes. So,
Absolutely agree with you.
this Srinagesh, if you remember, like whenever we used to do the sessions with Sacha, especially, right? So
Correct.
he constantly asks a question to the participants, not like a quiz or anything as such, because that time before COVID, we used to do in-person classroom sessions. So we are not used to that Kahoot or AHA Slides or anything as such. So we used to ask the
Correct.
question, open question to the participants every half an hour or every 45 minutes sort of thing. So that like we will also get the pulse check of the participants. Are they really following, or are we making any sense? Is it like just going to the slides and completing the topics instead of making them understand? That helps us also as a trainer to understand how we are doing it, or any adjustments or any changes to be done.
Correct.
So now I have this access to our slides. So we prepare the chapter-wise questions for each training session. When I say chapter-wise, we will take the question from the slides, so from the content which we're going to cover. And at end of every chapter, we used to ask the participants to take that quiz, so that we will get an idea how they are doing it, rather than waiting till end of the 2 days or 3 days session to get an idea, right? So that way it is definitely helping us also as a trainer.
Absolutely. Also, one more thing, Satish, like, what I see for last at least 4 or 5 years in Citi and other banks, they're customizing. They're not using, 100% as is the content from a Safe or Scrum or Kanban. So 70, maybe I guess 70%, they're adopting what the syllabus or contents is. Around 30 to 40%, they're customizing. For instance, in our current Citibank, you know, we will not use the word called feature. There is no word feature at all. It's always initiative, capability, epic, and story. You know, completely no, because it adds a confusion. So likewise, we also call, we don't call RT, we call training and technical program manager, TPM. TPM is equivalent to RT. Something like that. Every step we are highly, and also many times what I also see, they are using, wherever I go for last 7-8 years, we were the co-trainers and we had delivered a lot of sessions everywhere in India and other places. But somehow this point came in, like, don't use safe word in meetings. You say scaling framework, you say we are framework agnostic. Don't use that we are using safe. No, they're not encouraging. They are saying discouraging. Don't use the word called safe. Say scaling framework or some of these frameworks. Okay. Because maybe they're feeling like, maybe in future, some legal or any other binding or something, compliance or regulated. I do not know what is the reason. Wherever for last 4-5, everywhere I go, so please don't use that word called safe. But do, implement safe. But all coaches are SPCs. 40 coaches, 40 SPCs. Okay. when I am SPC and I have delivered 100 batches of 2000 participants across India, across the world, obviously we, our DNA, genes, blood group, everything is safe, only we'll get in. But however, I see these days, there, let's say value stream mapping, business capability architecture model, operational value streams, development value streams. And every step we see there is a kind of customization,
Yes,
30-40%. Maybe is it the
definitely.
same experience with all of you guys?
I can share my experience before others jump in.
Yeah,
So it's the same experience we have in our organization in our previous client engagements as well. So for example, like the PI planning itself, right? Even before COVID, we used to do 5 half-days PI planning, considering the dependencies or the cross release train collaborations and all those things, where at that point of time during 2016, 17, 18, and 19, we don't even have that distributed PI planning context itself defined in the scaled agile framework. Right? So whenever we used to do a training, we used to say, hey, as per 2 days, ideally. However, in our organization context, this is what we are doing. This is what we are
correct.
following. So during the training and during the implementation execution, we used to constantly bring both the perspectives as per scale agile guidelines versus as per the organization context, so that like the participants or the team members won't get confused. Of course, there will be a little bit tricky terminologies like the feature and epic. Right now, the Zira Cloud is not encouraging or allowing that terminology of feature. So even we are having epic and user stories. So we used to constantly remind, hey, as per Scale Agile, it is epic feature user story, but as per Jira, our implementation, it is epic user story, initiative epic user story. So that customization is there all
Correct.
across for sure.
Agree. Okay.
Yes. Sudhindra?
Yeah, hi, Satish and Srinivas. Yeah, so I I agree with you. Customization is there everywhere in my current organization also. From my current client, we are moving to a different uh, framework. In the back end, it is still scaled agile,
Yeah.
right? But no one want to use any of those
Yeah,
terms.
Yes.
Now,
correct.
my question is, customizing here for organization is absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, scaled agile says you will not be able to realize the entire value of the framework. That is there. Everyone have their own argument. But as a trainer, if you go out and deliver a customized frame part of it, it will scaled agile be okay with it. Like Satish, you said you will talk about both the uh, this is what scaled is safe stays and this is what
Yes.
we do in our organization.
Yes.
One, do we have that much time? And two,
Mm-hmm.
because I see that most of these safe trainings are content heavy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Do
Yes.
you have that much time to talk about uh, the the framework as well as what is the customization that we have done?
Mm-hmm.
Two, is safe as an organization
Mm-hmm.
uh, or as a business entity okay with you to
Mm-hmm.
deviate from what they actually recommend?
I can answer that from my context perspective, Sudhindra. See, what we are doing is now because we are doing virtual remote, we are doing 5 half-day sessions, even a training session. Ideally, it could be 2 full days or 4 half-days, 3 to 4 half-days based upon the training of the course. Instead, we are doing 5 half-days so that like we'll have enough time to bring in the organization context versus the scale agile context and everything. And as I mentioned, we are not going to the PI planning examples or reference of scale agile. We are using our own organization specific PI planning. I mean, we have our own
Mm,
features, epics, priorities, user stories, everything, backlog itself defined. We are using our own tool to do the PI planning simulation as well, right? So
okay,
coming back to your question, as per the guideline, we are not supposed to alter the course content or the slides of the scale agile. As a trainer, we should go through the slide as it is.
correct.
On top of it, we can bring in our own context, our own examples. Like
Okay.
just now I showed you my Excel document, right? So
Excel, yeah.
along with that, we will bring in that, okay, yes, this is the example or the reference from the scale agile. So this is what we are doing or we are following from our organization context. And how it is helping us is, again, because we are the transformation leaders within the organization. During the PI planning or whenever we are having that conversation with the teams, we will remind the teams, saying, hey, yes, this is what we are discussing in our safe session versus this is what we are doing right now. Our journey don't end only with the 2 days or 3 half days, 4 half days, right? We will be still there with the teams. So there is where we will be reminding the teams or we will be clarifying any questions to the teams or any team members in this. This is how it is happening within the organization context.
Understood. Yes.
And does it answer your question?
It does. It does. Yeah. And also the half a day extra time
Yes.
also gives you breathing space as a trainer to bring in your own flavor, and that adds more value to the participants than just sticking to the
Yes.
PowerPoint itself.
Yes. Yes. So when I did the RT session as well, right? I did the same thing. I mentioned like forget about the coverage of the course contents and everything. We will definitely do it. Make sure all of us we are okay to spend 1 or 2 additional days, even if it is required. I mean, additional half days if it is required, but make sure all of us coming together, discussing, make sure whatever we as an organization is following, we will get it clarified. We will get a common alignment during this session. Then we can come out of that context.
Correct.
Within the organization, it is up to us, right? And again, there is no restrictions from Scale Agile how it is, how we are doing it within the organization, right? So start date and end date is up to us.
Understood.
The challenge will come when you are doing a public session or when you are doing any, any other session where we have only the 2 days of time. I myself personally found a lot of times I was rushing to complete the sessions. By the time second day, half lunch time, I realized that, okay, we are lagging. We need to rush up. We need to rush up to complete it. Right? So that like check will be there like unknowingly, and we need to focus on getting it done.
And version by
Yes,
version,
Ramya.
more content is being added.
Right. Correct.
Hey, hi. Satish, as we most couple of us are newbies, right? How did you
Mhm.
guys manage to, yeah, the SPC learning and clearing exam was a struggle by its own. But then how did you guys manage to clear all the other, training enablement that is there? Is there a, I'm not asking for an easy way
Mhm.
out. What is more
Mhm.
efficient way out to have all these certificate? How can you bucket it?
Mhm. Mhm. I will share again my experience with Srinagesh. We both used to discuss. I mean, luckily, that time we used to go to office mandate before COVID. So we both used to discuss. Okay, yes, for today, let's discuss these 2 chapters. For today,
Mm-hmm.
for next day, next week, let's discuss these 2 chapters. And I used to go on my own, and Srinagesh used to go on his own. We both used to make our
Correct.
own notes, questions, more than notes, the questions. Hey, what is this? What is this point is trying to say, or how is this making sense? What if I have to explain this to a participant, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
used to go through that. We used to make our own notes, examples, references, and that. So we both prepared ourselves, Ramya. Again, it's not just from the clearing perspective. It is like once we clear, we should have that comfort level or confidence to go and train anyone
Correct. Correct.
coming for that session, right? So for that, our focus is not to clear the exam. Of course, the clearing exam will be there. Along with that, if in case someone comes and asks me, Satish, what is this point on this slide? I should be able to explain. I should be able to give an example or a reference. That is the way we prepared ourselves.
Okay.
Ra-
Yeah.
Ramya, this is Sudhindra, and if you are uh, struggling to complete the enablements, when I say struggling, it's not about the content, it's about finding time for it.
Yeah.
I am on the same boat. Okay. If it's okay, let's prepare together, just like Satish and Sinagesh teamed up. If
I would
we
love
can
to.
also,
Yes.
okay. So I'll leave my LinkedIn ID here. Let's connect and let's focus on that. I mean, if having a partner, I think we will be more committed and we'll take
Yes.
accountability.
Yes. Yes. I'm
Definitely that helps.
making you the accountability partner for me also. So
Oh God,
let's
I'm
do it.
scared now.
No, no, don't be scared. See, it's very, I would say it's a practical thing that you wouldn't find time for all this. But then if we can sneak in an hour or two in a day and then have a dedicated, get together, then probably we'll be also in a place where Satish or Shri is talking to us. So,
Exactly. So
yeah.
I'll share. Let's prepare together.
Yes, sure.
And before moving on to Shobha, like one more point, what I generally recommend, if in case you ask me, any of you ask me, right? So
Mhm.
first step is to go through leading safe.
Yeah. I
Reason,
managed to do that. I've done it actually.
yeah, reason, like as
Uh,
part of your SPC, irrespective whether you attended a leading safe individually before SPC or not, the first 2 days of SPC covers focus on that leading safe content.
mhm.
So already you prepared for SPC and going through that again, the course content of the leading safe, doing the practice test of that leading safe will give you a little bit of confidence or comfort level how you want to prepare yourself for that exam perspective. I mean, not the exam, sorry, the training perspective.
Hmm.
Right? Then once you complete with the leading safe, my next recommendation is like safe for teams or safe practitioner because
Say for teams, is it? Okay.
yes, safe practitioner, safe for teams, the safe practitioner certificate name, right? So that is at the team level. It will just cover pure basics at the team level,
Hmm.
right? That even that also has the PI planning from a team member perspective, like the explaining about the sprint planning, daily stand-up, demo, retrospective,
Hmm.
or the team and technical agility, or that now the PI planning, inspect and adapt, each and everything, right? So by now you are already prepared yourself for already completed SPC plus the leading safe for the PI planning explanation and everything.
Mhm.
And then the safe for teams again, you will be going through the PI planning concepts and you will get that little bit of clarity in understanding or going through that.
Perfect. Perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Then along with that, the framework, going through the framework helps many times.
Hmm.
More than the examples or the pointers or references given on the course content, including the trainer guide, there are tons of information available on the framework.
Right.
So I generally go through that framework. Let's suppose, say for teams. So I will start going through that. Okay, what is the responsibilities of the team members? So what is the Scrum from safe perspective? What is Kanban? What is the team backlog? The framework related pointers. So that way we can show the team members or participants that is this is how you can refer the framework, this is how you can go through the content, everything. It will
Hmm.
help us also to bring in more examples, more references, pointers than which is listed on the training content.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
One main challenge what uh, I personally used to get as a feedback or as a maybe a concern or a point statement is like, Satish, you are reading the slide content.
Hmm.
I
Correct.
already have the access to the material or I will get the access. Can you add something else or can you state something else which is not there on the slide? Right? So there is where accessing the framework or going through that framework helps to bring in these pointers, additional pointers if it is required. And there is where like my first point is like accessing the framework. We should get that comfort level if someone is asking this, okay, which component of the framework I need to refer to, or we need to ask them to refer to. So that comfort level we should get that, and that's where, like, obviously we are indirectly discussing about three things together: the framework, course enablements, preparations, and trainings, everything together. Right? Yes.
Right, right.
Right.
Yeah.
And uh, if in case any of you want to do a mock session, we are all here. Just post in the group. Hey, I would like to go through this, the safe for teams, or safe leading safe or something, for mock training sort of thing. Yes, we are happy to help you.
And
So
that's a
one
very
question,
good idea.
Satish.
Yeah.
One question, Satish, if
Mm.
it's okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
What I was thinking is, after the enablements are complete,
Mhm,
I will conduct free sessions, post in LinkedIn, see the interest that is coming up, but
mhm,
without using the actual material provided by Skill Diesel, because that's not permitted, I guess, right, for
mhm,
any free sessions,
mhm, mhm,
right? And that will give me an experience on how to teach or what kind of questions that might come
mhm, mhm,
in the real training. And that's my thought of mind right now.
mhm, mhm. Okay.
Is that okay?
Uh,
Like, it's a
uh,
trial and error kind of.
Let me bring just a minute. Shobha, you have a point to mention? Sundar,
No,
before
I
that.
was having one question, but
Okay.
it's better that if you want to, answer this question and then take up my question.
No, no,
I'm
I will
okay with
bring
that.
up, a my channel. In the meantime, you can ask your question.
Okay,
Mm,
so I was having a question that as while having the discussion, you have mentioned one point which I can also correlate in my situation, that uh, our life is not over only after giving those 2 days or 3 days of training, right?
mhm,
We
mhm,
are associated with some of the programs or some of the portfolios where in, day out, we keep on coaching, mentoring, and training people, right?
mhm, mhm,
And setting up the ways of working.
mhm,
So I just want to understand from all of you that what kind of Jira hygiene, or
mm,
what kind of, whatever tool you are using when
mm,
we are talking about, be it features or epics or a strategic initiative or capability, whatever naming convention you want to use,
mm,
or
mm,
user
mm,
story,
mm,
what all different hygienes you check, and do you have any central dashboard as a SPC or as a agile coach which you keep an eye, and what are the key things you try to have that in your dashboard or have that in your reporting,
mhm,
to make sure that whatever training or whatever coaching we are giving and whatever consistent ways of working we are setting, people are adopting it
mhm,
and people are disciplined towards it.
mhm, mhm. Okay. So Jira hygiene, more than the safe perspective, we have our own organization specific guidelines defined. Like we define our own sprint naming convention. Like it should be like a 2024 PI3 with either the release train name or the team name, and sprint one, sprint two, sprint three, like that. Right. So we have defined our own guidelines or the standards from the Jira perspective. Same for the other things as well. Like so, we create with the help of our data analytics team. We created a Power BI dashboard where it's not just for us as a coaches. It is for everyone across the organization. That dashboard link is accessible, where they will constantly check any. We call it as anti patterns dashboard, not
Yeah.
just for the safe perspective. It is like any
Yeah,
Jira
yeah, it's a
anti-patterns.
generic one.
It's a generic one, right?
Okay.
So, like what if
Okay.
like the committed versus completed, right? Committed
Yeah.
is 20 points, completed 50 story points. Immediately the
Mm,
dashboard will show in a red color because that
mm,
variance, percentage variance, right? So it will say, okay,
mm,
whoever it is taking a look at it, they'll get, oh, okay, why committed is only 20, why complete is 50,
mm,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like that, with the help of our data analytics team, we created the dashboard. It is up to the organization specific, Shobha.
So you keep on taking the dump in a continuous basis or automated
No, no,
dumps
no.
from
It
Jira
is,
and or it
yeah,
is directly integrated with
it is
Jira
directly
itself.
integrated, directly integrated.
Oh, okay, I
So
see. Yeah,
the
yeah.
information directly fetch from Jira and it reflects on that Power BI dashboard. No manual intervention required.
Okay, sounds
Real
great.
time
Okay,
data.
Yeah, real-time data, real-time data.
Yeah.
okay, 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 fine. Thanks for sharing this
Sure.
information.
So majority of it is a sprint level because as you see the sprint name, the
Yeah.
velocity and the capacity and few more other parameters from our organization perspective. So those things,
Mm,
once a sprint, right? No need for us to
mm,
look at every day. We won't get
mm,
any benefit
mm.
out of it, right? So we say, hey,
Yeah,
tomorrow is the
yeah.
sprint planning. So before that, we will make sure like we take a quick look at it and we will filter it. What is it? The teams or sprints and all the release trains not following that pattern. We quickly send a
Okay.
reminder. Even without we intervening, they themselves will check on that. Either
Yeah,
release
yeah,
train
yeah, yeah.
engineer or
Got you.
program manager, someone.
Yeah. So have anyone tried the Jira align dashboards using rich filters? That I'm just trying to understand the feasibility that
Mhm,
whether it can be done via rich filters in Jira align, or do you have you tried this thing and do you see a limitations in the rich filter because of that you are using Power BI and so and so. So I'm just trying to, because I have tried few of the things in rich filter,
mhm,
but I did not see it getting very much successful. That's the reason I raised this question, that how other people are doing it.
mhm, mhm. So Jira rich filters, I don't have experience working with that, and we are not using Jira line. We are using a tool called as Kendis, another tool, right? So
Okay. Mm.
um, the problem with all these tools, I'm not sure again about Jira line, but even the rich filters or Kendis or other tools is like it will give us the information only at the release train level or at the team level or project level. What if I
Mm.
want to take a look at we
Yeah.
have 150 teams. I want
Mm.
one single place where I want to look at all the information. I don't want to look or refer different dashboards. So that is where
Mm.
we started creating this Power BI where irrespective of release train or the teams or other things, all the 150 teams information is available at one single dashboard.
Mm. Mm.
That's one
Okay.
reason we
Yeah.
use that Power BI.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fine. That's a good trigger to me. Maybe I'll just go back and try doing some stuff in Power BI and see that if it closes or it removes my impediments with rich filters.
Yes,
Thanks, Satish. Yeah.
sure. Yes, yes. Sudhindra?
Yeah, I wanted to say I just got no, I'm going to get access to Align
Mm-hmm.
in a week, and I
Cool.
have a tendency of doing a lot of surplus with the tools.
Mm.
So probably in a month or so, I should be able to answer your questions and see if it is not possible. It is possible. It is not. Otherwise, we have
Yeah.
done a lot of things that Jira doesn't support, but we have
Yeah.
done it on
Yeah.
Jira with
Okay.
with Indian jugaad, right?
Jugaad. Okay.
I know.
Sounds
So I'm
great.
sure
Yeah.
I'm sure I will use some of those tricks here as well.
Yeah.
So I'll
Sure.
yeah, we'll keep connected
Yeah,
on the
let's
group
let's
and we'll
connect.
get
Let's connect on
yeah,
LinkedIn as well, so that we'll
yeah.
come to know that how is the progress going on and how can you help me.
And I
Okay.
have like 30, 40 of people just like me who are enthusiastic and
Mm.
doing circus.
Yeah.
So if
Great.
I'm
So
trying for something, my team would have already done that. So
morning I
I'll
was
Great.
yeah,
looking at that Jira Align. If in
pricing
case I can get that one single license so that we can do a mock
too costly.
usage of Jira Align, but minimum is 30 licenses. That's what they're telling, and $46,000.
It's too costly,
Because of which I
Satish.
said, okay, forget about it. I will go through Candice free trial and we will do a session using that.
Candice is a great tool, Satish. I've
Yes.
used it for many years. So
Yeah. So coming back to your previous question, Sudhindra, right? So
yes, yes.
this is all the videos, I mean, these are all the sessions which we did as part of that SSAG Guru's platform. The
Okay.
PI planning, Oreo of Scale Agile framework, right? Implementing OKRs and understanding safe, Oreo of essential configuration, essential large versus portfolio configuration. So all of these, what we did is like we directly use the framework on the Excel documents which I prepared for myself. Right? So we never mentioned as a training. We
Webinar.
never mentioned about anything as such. We are saying that, hey, we want to do a webinar on this topic. That's it. Reason,
Understood.
the moment we mention the word pre-training, it will create triggers.
Understood.
Right?
Point out as webinar. Yeah,
Never mention as a training. Instead, you can call it as a webinar or an overview session and go through the framework. You can cover you might be covering the same content. If you can see, like the last week, I mean, 28,
Can we
July
use their
27.
slides?
No,
No,
I
right?
never
Yeah.
use the safe slides. I
No,
never use the safe
yeah,
slides.
we have to prepare our own content for
I never
this. Yeah,
prepare. I
sure.
never prepare. I'm very lazy. I told you, right? I will
And
directly
not
refer the
slides,
framework.
content. Yeah, I think content
Even the
alone.
content. Even the content.
That
I
we can
use,
go to their website and
yes.
yeah.
I use the Excel or I use the framework directly. That's it. No slide, nothing. I never use that. I don't want to, and I don't recommend also. Right? The overview of pre-PA planning and PA planning, we did 4-hour session on July 27th. I haven't even opened a slide. It is all the framework. It is all the Excel document. That's it. Nothing about it. Right? Open that PA planning and go through that. I prepared my own PA planning document, Excel document. I had gone through that. Maybe I can show you that also. Let me bring that also. So how I prepare myself or how I am getting things right. This is how I prepare all the things on my own. Let me bring one more document so that we can discuss everything together. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. Yes, I have the documents ready. Is it? You're able to see the Excel? No, I don't think so.
No, we are
No.
not able to see.
Yes. Let me share my entire screenshot. I mean the screen. See, I prepared all this for myself. Right. This is what we used to share with the team members, with the participants for easy reference. See, the safe terminology or the synonyms. We use the Scrum meeting, Agile meeting, the sprint demo, iteration demo, or different things, right? So the safe terminology versus the synonyms or the Scrum event and the frequency, the recommended and attendees outcomes, same way program level events, and the preparation for PI planning. Yes, this is what I was going through. And the PI planning, what is the event name or who is facilitating it? Who are the participants? What are the share artifacts? What are the
Looks
outcomes?
like a cheat sheet. Yeah,
Obviously.
very good cheat sheet. Very
Right?
good.
So whenever you look at even the Scale Agile framework, it is they will simply mention RT should facilitate the PI planning. As per me, no. The business context should be facilitated by business owners. The product vision should be facilitated by product management. The architect vision should be facilitated by system architect. Right? Then the team breakout should be facilitated by Scrum Master. So where is it listed? It is not. So that's why I prepared my own document. And I will share this saying, hey, this is what you have to pass on. I will share the same thing with my release shrine. Then, hey, you are participating in the PA planning. This is your role. This is what you need to be prepared to share with the release shrine participants as part of your role. So that majority of the times we should get, hey, I am invited to the PA planning. No, you have equal contribution, equal role in PA planning. Especially this comes from the business owner. Says, hey, I have been just asked to take part in the PA planning RT. No, you are the one who should drive that PA planning to the success throughout each and every step. right? So how do we explain them? How do we set that context to them? And that's why I prepared all these documents. Because as for your previous question, right? So we are not supposed to alter the slides or the content. You have to go through that. But that won't help our context within the organization or implementation. So how do we bridge the gap? Again, it will come down to us. Hey, this is what you told in our training, but this is what is happening. Yes, from the certification or the training perspective, go to that. From the implementation perspective, this is what you have to refer to.
Very nice work, Satish.
Right? And like yes, this is the other the value stream mapping, the budgeting, lean budgeting example, like the operational value stream, development value stream, the planning, quarterly planning, plan versus actual budgeting, everything. I prepared this again to showcase what's the deviation. Everyone used to come and ask, "Hey, why deviation come when you have the plan? We are taking historical reference. There shouldn't be any deviation." No, we never know when the deviation comes, right? How do we set that context? How do we bring that discussion? There is how we have to either use the template. Again, using the templates or the toolkit, we can achieve only 70-80%. The remaining 20% or maybe more than that, we have to do our own preparation even before having that conversation, whether it is training or workshop or any conversation with any of the stakeholders.
So this budgeting stuff looks quite interesting, Satish. Is there a way that if we can have a session with you
Sure,
separately only for the
definitely,
budgeting, that how do you do this?
definitely,
Because
we can do
that
that.
will, I'm not sure how many of us have exposure towards the budgeting of, so
Mhm.
is this somehow connected to the lean portfolio management
Yes,
also? Is it
yes,
the
yes.
part of that?
LPM, lean portfolio,
Yeah.
and the quarterly budgeting, right?
Yeah. So it
Now
would be great
we,
if you can come
Mhm.
up with a session on this, because I have seen that even though experienced SPCs do not have that exposure in their organization to have the
Mm.
LPM, because many organizations do their budgeting and midterm finance or yearly finance in a completely different way, even though they are in safe, but most of the time are not willing to implement the LPM.
Yes.
So we don't get exposure in that case. So it would be
Mm.
great if you can come up with a session.
Definitely, definitely. And just to let you all know, like right now we are doing a monthly budgeting. We went down from quarterly to monthly also.
Great.
So we every month before the beginning and everything, like we have to make sure that the budgeting is there. Like end of the third week itself, we should start discussing. Okay, how are we doing on the budget? Or is it the budget requirements for the next month? Any changes, any adjustments across the release trains, across the solutions? We start it's a now it became that's where we are doing that release planning, which includes that budgeting as well as one of the key aspect.
What did you find the difference doing it, quarterly and then doing it monthly? Isn't it too heavy for people to do it every month?
We are doing a monthly release, Shobha. We moved
Mm-hmm.
ahead to a quarterly. We used to do a yearly release when we are on the server. Then we came down to 6 months. Last year, when we started doing this cloud migration or the implementation, we started doing quarterly. Now we are doing monthly release. So month on month, the requirements are changing. The context is changing. So because of which we may have to go for more budget, or sometimes we may have to go with the less budget, right? I mean, just to give an example, we are supposed to have a integration with all the cloud service providers, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, plus our own servers, our own cloud implementation. So AWS will be charging something commission as a commission. Azure will be charging something else as a commission. Google Cloud will be charging something else as a commission. So if our current month release is for AWS, we have to consider that as a budget for that month,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in one of our release, what happened is like we I don't want to bring the names, but we are done with the 2 of the cloud service providers. But when we are trying to do the integration with the third cloud provider, we anticipated that we need $50,000 extra to do that
Okay.
integration.
Mm-hmm.
When we go with that regular typical quarterly budget, we cross that like anything. So everyone started breaking their heads like, where do we bring that 50,000 extra all of a sudden?
Hmm.
Right? I mean, once we start, we don't know how
Yeah.
the challenges or issues start coming up.
Hmm.
Right? So because we are doing monthly release, so we want the budget is also, I mean, not too many drastic changes are coming up, but the yearly budget we typically start with splitting by 12 and we'll spread across, but still we know that we have to tweak, play around as we go month on month.
Yeah.
We'll discuss.
Yeah. Sure.
I think it brings more agility, right? Just like our
Obviously,
daily
obviously.
scrum, monthly review of the budget, we'll inspect and adapt where we are, probably decrease the scope, increase the scope, whatever. Right.
And that
That's
is indirectly bringing up the lean thinking also. Like, hey, when we are doing it, the moment like next weekend is a long weekend coming up, right? 4 days holidays, directly or indirectly. So today itself, we started sending us, hey, next week is a long weekend, so shut down your cloud servers by Wednesday before leaving for the day if you're not using it. So that additional 2 days, weekends they will be doing it, but additional 2 days of billing for that cloud service will be saved. Right? I mean, like
it's
that.
like
Yes.
go ahead, Satish, sir.
Yeah. I mean, like that, like we start as we closely monitor, we will start identifying where we can bring in more savings or where we can eliminate the unnecessary spending. That is how it is helping from our context.
But in my, at least in my, with my client, just like the word accept change in requirements being misused, lean teams is also being misused. All of a sudden, they came back and said, from tomorrow, you have to deliver the same amount of work with two team members less. Right? Think, think lean. I mean, yeah, we will, but let's have a discussion first and see how we can go there rather than cutting my throat and say live. Right. It's being misused a lot.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, go ahead. So,
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely, definitely. Good. Yes.
Satish, and
So,
also another question.
mhm, yes, yes, Ramya.
Okay, sorry, I was talking on mute. So yeah, the question is, when you talk to this upper management PMP guys, okay, you'll understand why I was saying this. PMP guys, because um, most of the time their thought process drills down to WBS, resource,
Mhm,
and budgeting. I
mhm, mhm,
somewhere feel the necessity or the urge for lean budgeting understanding and how you are doing. There
mhm,
is a lag in across the industry, right?
mm,
The
mm.
way they understand, the way they pursue, everything is different. And like Shobha said, there are many SPCs who don't know how to correlate this math actually. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, I like. I mean, I just wanted to add that point because the influence. I don't blame people because they have been doing this for centuries, right? It's okay.
Mm, mm.
Now, if we have to bring in this drastic, rather a dramatic change in the way they budget, in the way they think, in the way they utilize resource, that drill down is what we might need assistance, and I think we will discuss sooner on that.
Sure, sure, sure. We can do that. So let me quickly share my screen again.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I used to share this picture with my leadership team. And hey, yes, when you're doing that yearly budgeting, this is what you're doing. And even when we are doing that server, we used to have very little or minimal changes
Mhm.
because I'm sure 90% of us might be directly or indirectly following this approach of Agile. Right? The requirements are already gathered, design is already implemented. The developing, testing, and feedback at the sprint level, implementation level is what we are following as Agile. And then the deployment could be a big bang deployment based upon the organization or the client context, and then the final outcome. So we should say, if you want this, you can go with the fixed budget or that quarterly or yearly budget, whatever you want. But if in case you want that fast feedback or shorter, smaller cycles of implementation, this is how you have to follow. Establish requirements, design, develop, test, or deploy outcome, get the feedback, and then that feedback should be immediately passed on to the next release, next version to the possible extent. If that is the case, we never know what the feedback will be coming from the clients. What if this feedback is saying that no, we don't want a username password authentication, we want a fingerprint authentication that might cost maybe 100K extra. Where will you get the budget? If you already fix your budget at the beginning of the year, right? So this is how we used to have the conversation. It won't be done in one single discussion or one single session or context as such. It takes its own time and effort to have this type of conversations and make sure bring our own context, our own examples within the organization, which helps us to get that clarity on why we are proposing something or what we are trying to achieve, how we have to implement. First, we as a coach, mentor, or guide or trainer, we need to have that clarity. Only then we can recommend or propose any implementation. Right?
Yes, Satish, thank you.
Yes. 722. Yes. Anything else? I guess we covered major of the points. At least, if not 100%, at least we touch base. The course enablement, or the trainings, toolkit, templates, and the organization context, the aspects. Anything else you want to discuss?
No, nothing from my side. It was a great session, Satish.
Mhm.
I'm also good. Thank you so much. This has been the first session. I feel so warm. Thank you, Satish. Thank you, everybody.
Definitely, definitely. Look,
Thank you,
going
Satish.
going ahead, let's see. We will try to have a regular discussions like this, so that at least all of us as a coaches, as an SPCs, will have a common understanding, common think, and how we can help each other. That's what the main agenda.
Wonderful thought.
Right. Okay. Yes, Dhirendra.
Yeah, so also I think like a lot of you SPCs, like initially what happens that if there is an hesitance for training, or if you think that in some of the things or concepts or examples you're not clear, it is also recommended from safe side also that you can partner,
Yes.
or you can co-train first. So if anyone want to also co-train with me, I am also open for collaboration. You people can
I'm
also,
ready.
reach me.
I'm ready already. I'm putting my
Oh, very,
kerchief there and yes,
very good.
Dhirendra, give me one topic or even I'm ready to change the slides also to learn from anyone. Right?
So
Um,
generally
no,
slides
I'm
we
just
don't
telling you.
change.
I'm
Yes.
just telling you.
Uh,
Right?
so s- so generally slides we don't change. See, we are free to show our own slides, our own material examples,
When
Excel
I say
template.
change slides, it's from slide to slide. Right? As
Okay.
small as possible. Right? I'm not talking about changing the content.
Okay.
I'm saying yes. From facilitation, coordination till learning, and then taking one topic, then probably taking second topic, taking feedback. I'm ready now, but I'll complete my enablements in 2 weeks. Starting with scaled safe list.
Great, great, great.
So Dhirendra,
Mm.
Shobha here. So I have
Mm.
enabled myself for leading Safe
Oh,
SM,
great.
and Safe POPM.
Great.
I'm planning to enable myself for RT because I have done my training and certification for RT. So I'm planning to
Mm.
enable as well as soon as possible.
Mm.
I'm targeting to do it in another,
Mm.
maybe this weekend itself. Okay.
Mm.
So, and I have started, I have given one safe training within BT itself, like within my organization. Sorry, I'm so used to of
Mm.
telling BT.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
I think
within
we
my,
met also during that
yes,
event.
and
Okay, I
Devon, yeah,
remember
yeah.
now you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I have given one session internally. Okay. So I was having this question that, in my mind that, uh, are we allowed to co-train outside of the organization in a private setup? First of
Satish,
all,
you want to take
okay.
it?
Before I say that, Dhirendra, I'm interested to do it.
See,
Okay.
I know a lot of people do it, and that's a different story.
Yeah, but we have to
But what
think.
about how about
This
the
question.
regulations? Maybe I
Yeah,
think
yeah. This
Satish can
question is with
clarify.
respect to the integrity. Okay, so is it allowed?
Um, Two ways it is allowed, provided we are not taking any payment. We can do that, right? And
Okay.
it is as a like a knowledge sharing as a collaboration. We can definitely do that, right? And the private training, the second aspect is like as a SPC, individual SPC, we can do the remote as well as in-person private training.
Okay.
There is no restrictions on that.
So
But how can we do
remote.
that free? Because for buying a license, I will have to pay that cost, right? That bare minimum cost of license.
No, no. Here in this context, Dhirendra will be the main trainer. You will be the co-trainer. So he will purchase the
Okay.
license. He will
Okay.
add
Got
you as a
you.
co-trainer.
Got you. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Then Dhirendra, coming back, that yes, I'm interested. I'm making myself already enabled for multiple stuff. So maybe we can connect offline on this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think so accordingly we can connect and we can discuss. We can set up a schedule. That is very important. That
Yeah.
how do we want to go about it. So the all
Also,
the other
please,
other formalities I can do, and we can co-train. That's not a problem.
Got
Yeah,
you.
please
Yeah.
sorry.
leave your
Someone
LinkedIn
was.
here.
Yeah,
Please, yeah.
so I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm very famous, but if you want to Google me, you can. Okay, so
Sure.
I'm just leaving my LinkedIn definitely here.
You have to say
And
you're famous, Virender.
and again at the same time, like if not the training, if any of you want to do any webinar, let us know. We have a SSAG Gurus community. Whenever we post, minimum 15-20 members will join to listen.
Sure.
So that setup we can do it. We have all the setup like Zoom, the webinar, everything. The participants are also ready. Only whenever you want to do any overview or any webinar, you let us know. We will schedule a date and time, and we can do that webinars any point of time.
So I
Thanks,
need to
Virender.
drop, and thanks
Thanks,
a lot. Thank you
thanks, Virender.
guys.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Take
Thanks.
Thanks.
care.
Thanks
Have
for
a
sharing
great
all the
time.
knowledge
Yeah.
here. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I
Bye.
mean, before dropping off, just a minute. Let me stop the
Yeah. Yes.
recording.
Yeah.
Sure.